So it looked like Caitlin Clark has found herself in another situation following another game. This time it's involving Breanna Stewart. Now, Breanna Stewart refused to answer the questions when reporters asked her about that hard foul that she did on Caitlin Clark. Now social media has took it and ran with it. And we know anytime it's involving Caitlin Clark, it's going to grow legs and it's going to get attention.
Watching Caitlin Clark go up for a layup and get slapped across the face by Breanna Stewart.
Look at this. Look. Wham! Right in the face. Look. Wham!
A shocking moment unfolded when Caitlin Clark drove hard into the paint and went up for a layup, only for Breanna Stewart's hand to make contact with her face during the contest. Yet somehow, the whistle never came and the play continued without a single call. When reporters later asked Stewart about the incident after the game, she simply walked past the question as if it never occurred. That moment alone reveals a lot about where this league stands right now, because when officials refuse to make the call and the player involved avoids addressing it, the entire situation gets buried while everyone is expected to move forward like nothing happened.
The situation is, but I thought, based on what I seen yesterday, second half of the game, Indiana Fever got back in it. The referees seemed like they was making calls, but when she was hit in the face by Breanna Stewart after a play, now granted, I do want to say, before I roll the footage, it was a basketball play, but she still should have received some type of flagrant foul because it was a hit to the face.
This goes far beyond just one isolated play or a simple missed call. This is the face of one of the WNBA's biggest franchises being asked a straightforward question about making contact with the league's biggest draw and deciding to stay completely silent instead of offering any explanation. You would expect a two-time WNBA champion with that level of respect and influence to at least address the moment, even if only to explain that it was a clean contest and nothing more.
The referee's job is, while players are going up to the rim, going up for layups, is to look at all forms of contact, all forms of possible contact. Breanna Stewart goes to block Caitlin Clark's shot, and what does the referee do? Stands there, watches Caitlin Clark get whacked in the head, and does absolutely nothing about it. Now, you can't convince me he didn't see it. You can't convince me that this official did not see it.
Rather than addressing the situation, she completely brushed it aside, and that silence has continued spreading across social media ever since. Fans are not simply looking for a no-comment response when the video replay is right there for everyone to watch again. So, let's take a closer look at what really happened on the court, because the actual play reveals details that the box score could never capture. And once you slow the footage down, the argument becomes much easier to understand.
Look at this. Look. Wham! Right in the face. Look. Wham! No call. And this is why the face of the league, Caitlin Clark, be getting so angry, because it's like, you can't miss calls like this, especially when every time, let's just use this last game for example, every time they went down the court for New York, they were calling fouls. It felt like every time they went down the court. That was the only way New York could stay in the game.
When Clark attacks the basket for a layup, Stewart steps up to challenge the shot, and her hand makes direct contact with Clark's face while trying to block or disrupt the attempt. Now, this was not a flagrant play, and nobody is claiming Stewart stepped onto the court with the intention of causing harm. Physical contact can happen when players are moving at full speed and fighting for a defensive stop. But the impact was enough that many viewers expected a whistle, yet the officials allowed play to continue. That is the issue that keeps coming up with Clark specifically, making it feel less like simple bad luck and more like a repeated problem the officials have failed to address. In a similar situation involving almost any other star in the league, there is a strong possibility of a foul call and free throws. With Clark, it often turns into a quick reset and moving on, because this was not even the first time it happened this season, and it was not even the first time that week. That is exactly the kind of situation that should have the league office paying closer attention.
And this one did not get called. It should have been a flagrant. Nope. Not in this league. By the way, anybody that thought Adam Silver put in the call after last night, oh, they're going to start calling fair fouls on Caitlin Clark. Nah. You got to be crazy. That's not going to happen. Got to be more careful. No, negative. What? No way.
The face contact on the layup was not the only troubling moment, because Clark also took another hit near her eye during that same stretch of action, and once again, no whistle followed. That means 2 separate moments in one game where contact reached Clark's face. Yet the officials decided not to make a call. Several people covering the matchup used nearly identical wording when breaking it down, mentioning multiple fouls, a flagrant, and Clark getting hit in the eye. When different outlets arrive at the same conclusion without coordinating, it shows just how noticeable the missed calls were. When the same replay leads separate creators to the same reaction, it usually means the evidence was clear enough for everyone watching to see. But the situation became even more complicated because Clark's own night started falling apart almost instantly, and some of those issues had absolutely nothing to do with Stewart at all.
Then we get the Jonquil Jones screen. Many people are saying, it looks like a moving screen. Many people are saying, she's leaning into it, dropping the shoulder. We might have thought that after the game against the Storm, we might have thought Adam Silver made the call. I don't think Adam Silver made the call.
Just moments after the opening tip, Clark collided with a screen from Jonquil Jones, hit the floor hard, and then had a heated exchange with an official while getting back to her feet. That interaction resulted in a technical foul, marking her 6th of the season, and she was later fined $1,000 because of it. But the bigger issue is what this means moving forward. That technical moves her closer to a potential 1-game suspension, because 2 more before the regular season ends would force her to miss time, creating a major setback for a player who carries such a large part of her team's offense every night. Consider the timing for a moment, because it reveals just how much frustration Clark appears to be feeling right now. And that kind of frustration usually comes from somewhere deeper.
Caitlin Clark got 2 technical fouls, or so we thought. The first one, the ball gets tipped out of bounds, she goes to get it, she kicks it off of her foot, thinking it'll go against the scores table and then come right back to her. But it didn't. Went off the side and kind of rolled down the court. She hustled after it, gave it back to the ref, and he called her for a bench technical for the delay of game. That goes against the bench, not against Caitlin Clark. Later, she did get a technical on her own at the end of the game when she argued a call with the ref. Once she hits 7, she has to sit out a game.
This was actually Clark's first technical foul in nearly a month, with her previous one coming on June 22nd against Phoenix. So, this is not a player constantly collecting technicals every week because of frustration. Instead, it is someone who went almost 4 full weeks without one before receiving her 6th technical shortly after dealing with hard, uncalled contact to the face. She is now tied for 2nd in the entire league in technical fouls alongside Phoenix's Kalia Copper, with only Angel Reese, who has 7, ranking higher.
Technical, I didn't need an explanation. I deserved it, but it was worth it. The delay of game made no sense. It felt like Tyler wanted to assert himself into the game, and that was ridiculous. So that just not a point in the game he needed to call that. I went and got the ball, went off my foot off the scores table, and then he gave us a delay of game, which is a team technical foul. So you can ask Tyler, I don't.
When the player who draws the most contact is also climbing the technical foul rankings, it raises questions about whether the officiating is truly reflecting what is happening on the court. The difference between the physical hits Clark absorbs and the number of whistles she receives continues to grow every time this situation comes up. And when you step back far enough to see the bigger picture, that gap becomes the central part of the entire story.
Caitlin, can you take me through that 2nd quarter play with Stokes that made you upset and then you hopped into the back?
Quad. Like that hurts. Like the ref can't miss that. And then I have to play with a contusion in my leg the rest of the game. Like it's ridiculous. Can't miss calls like that.
Did they give you an explanation right after when you?
She said I initiated the contact, which is fine. You can't knee me in the leg, knock me over.
Beyond the technical foul, Clark endured a significant amount of physical contact throughout the entire game. There was contact near her eye, a hit to the face, and still no whistle from the officials. This continues a pattern that fans and commentators have pointed out throughout the season, where Clark appears to absorb heavy, sometimes uncalled contact at a rate that feels different from the rest of the league. It has become a recurring topic in WNBA discussions, separate from which team she faces or who is involved in the play. Different opponents, different venues, yet the same outcome keeps appearing. That repeated pattern is exactly why many people no longer see it as simple coincidence. This is not just a one-game storyline anymore. It has become a full-season trend with a growing record of moments that are difficult to dismiss.
We have seen Stewie make some plays
right here, and she's going to get poked in the eye right there by Breanna Stewart. I don't think it was on purpose, but nonetheless, it was an ugly, ugly eye poke, and of course, no flagrant was called. I mean, poked her right in her eye hole, right there. Luckily, Caitlin kept going. Caitlin had to persevere tonight. Let's just be real. 17 points. This stat line started looking a lot better as the game went on. 17 points, 5 of 14.
The reaction from fans came almost instantly, as clips of the layup contact spread across social media within minutes, with viewers highlighting that the play looked like the type of contact that would normally be called against almost any other player in the league. The response was not filled with uncertainty either. People were not simply debating a close decision. The overwhelming question was how the officials missed the call entirely. When different accounts and platforms reach the same conclusion, it usually shows just how noticeable the missed call truly was. This was not just a group of Clark supporters raising complaints either, because several neutral commentators who do not regularly cover the Fever also shared similar reactions once the replay gained attention. And that brings the focus back to Stewart, because her silence after the game is what transformed a missed call into a bigger conversation that continued far beyond the final box score.
Nothing. And you can't lie saying he didn't see it. Look, he looking right there. Bang, he looking. So yes, Caitlin has every right to get angry and upset and say whatever she want to say. Yes, she does. And yes, the fans, we have every right to feel like that there is some kind of something going on behind the scenes that says, oh, allow this to happen to Caitlin. We ain't got to get into conspiracy theories or not, but it's something there. And if you say it ain't nothing there and that's just...
When Stewart was directly questioned about the contact, she did not provide an explanation, an apology, or even a simple acknowledgement that the moment occurred. She simply moved forward without addressing it. And to be fair, players are asked about contested plays constantly, and most usually provide some type of response, even if it is a defensive one, like saying they were only going for the ball or did not realize they made contact. Stewart's decision to offer almost nothing is what has fueled much of the criticism, because silence from a player with her level of respect can come across less like humility and more like avoidance. If the play was truly nothing, explaining that would only take a few seconds. Ignoring the question completely can make people wonder if there is more behind the situation than what is visible. That response matters even more because of who is raising these concerns about the officiating, and it is not just a few reporters looking for attention or chasing a headline.
Okay, so according to WNBA officials, especially a particular official who works in the Fever games, fouls are given out based on who's wearing the jersey. Like, whoever the player is, basically. Am I right? Because that's what is given. And Caitlin's crash out tonight was valid because, like, it gets to a point. It gets to a point, and even the fans have noticed what they believe is a pattern of inconsistent and biased calls at Fever games, and moments like tonight just kind of add on to that perception because fans aren't tuning in to watch officiating be the conversation. Fans are tuning in to watch elite athletes hoop and to see consistent calls. So when the officiating becomes the talking point after a game, that's a problem for the league.
This has moved far beyond fans simply voicing complaints online. Olympic athletes and even members of Congress have separately raised concerns about how the league handles physical play involving Clark specifically. Much of that criticism connects back to moments exactly like this: a clear hit to the face, no whistle from the officials, and a star player choosing not to address it afterward. When these situations continue happening game after game and the response from those involved remains silence, it stops feeling like random incidents and starts looking like a larger issue the league needs to confront instead of hoping it fades away. The pattern becomes clear when everything is placed together. Clark absorbs hard contact to the face. Officials fail to make the call. She reacts with visible frustration, and that reaction leads to a technical foul that costs her money while moving her closer to a suspension. At the same time, the player involved in the contact is asked about it directly and chooses not to respond. That is not just one disappointing moment. It is multiple breakdowns happening within the same game. And that is exactly why this discussion continues week after week, because every part of the situation keeps adding fuel to the next.
Caitlin Clark, punch to the neck, and I just want to say this. They've been going at this girl since she came in the league. She should have been on the Olympic team. They left her off. She's the best player in the league, most exciting player in the league. They can't stand her for it. People are just not treating her fair. I don't know why the WNBA doesn't step in. Before Caitlin Clark came to the league, the only people that really watched it were female basketball players. It lost money every single season. Then Caitlin Clark came along, fever tickets sell out. She's the woman version of Stephen Curry, one of the best shooters I've ever seen for a female. People want to watch her.
Looking at this situation from Clark's perspective, the frustration becomes easy to understand. She is taking physical contact that would likely draw an immediate whistle from many other players on the court, yet instead of receiving protection from officials, she is the one ending up in the box score with a technical foul and a fine attached to her name. The players delivering the contact walk away without fouls, penalties, or even having to give a real explanation beyond avoiding questions during media sessions. That creates a strange imbalance for a league that frequently emphasizes player safety and protecting its stars. And this situation does not exist in isolation. Clark has become one of the biggest forces behind the league's recent attention, ticket sales, and broadcast growth, which would suggest officials should be especially aware of protecting her from unnecessary contact. But the footage continues to show something different. Hard screens that go uncalled, hands making contact with her face without a whistle, and officials appearing hesitant to make the call when she is the one taking the hit. That is not just speculation anymore. It is what the replay continues to show whenever people take the time to review the moments closely.
So this was probably the most intense moment with a ref we've seen with Caitlin Clark. Do I wish that Clark would stop going off at the refs? Yes, I do. But I understand, Clark, this is who you are, and refs are terrible, man. So let's just break it down. Clark is the female Steph Curry, okay? Regardless if y'all want to agree with that, Steph's my favorite player. I know who would play like him. Both of them are the most fouled players in their respective leagues. Steph Curry's the most fouled player in the NBA. Clark is the most fouled player in the WNBA because they both are dangerous from three and shoot the logo three. The only way to stop them is to foul them. And for some reason, the refs just don't want to give them a whistle. If they did, they would shoot more than 10 free throws a game if they really got the foul they deserve, man. Well, I get it, Clark. The refs suck. You know what I'm saying?
Clark now sits at 6 technical fouls on the season, placing her among the league leaders and leaving her just one step away from a suspension that could cost her valuable games during a tight playoff push. And part of how she reached this point comes from officials repeatedly missing calls that appear obvious, leaving her to absorb contact that might be whistled immediately from many other players on the court. Every missed call builds more frustration. Every moment of frustration creates the risk of another technical, and every technical moves her closer to being forced to sit out. That is a chain reaction the league is allowing to continue by failing to address the first issue. If the league truly wants this storyline to stop dominating conversations every week, the solution is simple: make the calls when they happen. Hold players accountable when they are asked direct questions about clear contact captured on camera, instead of allowing them to avoid the moment, like Stewart did here. Neither step requires a new rule or a special investigation. It only requires consistent action from the people already responsible. Until that changes, This same discussion will keep returning because nothing about the officiating or the responses afterwards suggests the situation is disappearing. And as these moments continue without real answers, more people beyond the usual WNBA audience will start questioning why the league's biggest star keeps dealing with contact that others in her position might not have to endure.